Welcome to the Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Vantage Fit, the all-in-one AI-powered corporate wellness platform developed by Vantage Circle.
Welcome to another episode of Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Dipshi, and today I have with me transformational coach mentor, Dr. Suraj Gogoi. Welcome to the show, Suraj.
Oh, thank you so much, Dipshi. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are glad to have you here today. So can you start by telling us about your journey in the field of wellness?
Yeah, so I'm a transformational coach and I also work as a holistic psychiatrist. So for the past 25 years or so, I've been working with people to help them break through their challenges and kind of reach their highest potential. And my approach is quite unique in the field of healing because I bring a combination of psychiatry from my medical experience, psychology, spirituality, lifestyle, and nutrition, if you like. So it's an amalgamation of all of those different approaches in the work that I do with my clients.
Oh, that's great. It must be very exciting.
Yeah, very much so. Get a lot of pleasure from really seeing and witnessing the transformation in the lives of individuals that I'm privileged to help in a little way.
That's very inspiring as well. So today's topic, as you know, is lifestyle. So can you start with telling us about your current lifestyle? So what does a normal day looks like to you?
My normal day in a lifestyle is again a very individual choice, really, in terms of, there's no one lifestyle that is going to fit everyone. So my current lifestyle is something that I have got into after years of experimentation, if you like, and doing things the wrong way for a long time. And currently I found a happy medium, if you like, with my lifestyle. Looking at things, for being very mindful about the things I eat and diet and nutrition, the level of my physical activity, and the sleep. Sleep is one of the cornerstones of good health. So I'm very particular about ensuring I get enough, a good quantity and quality of sleep every day. So it starts. I start the day to give you a sense of what my routine is like. It starts in the morning. I wake up early morning, do some reading, a light reading, something around sort of spirituality and innate health, which is my area of interest. And then it's time for the school run. I take help one of my daughters get to school in the morning, and you can't escape that family life. And after that, I come back and either I'm getting into work within the job I do. So I work for the National Health Service part-time in the UK. So I start that work at about 9 o'clock in the morning. And on the days that I'm not doing that work, I'm off from my NHS job. I probably do some content writing for my coaching and consulting business.
That's great.
And looking at more sort of social media comments and so on for a while. And then in the evening, just to give you a sense, I go out for a walk with my 2 dogs, and there's a lovely park nearby, and I make sure I get that dose of physical activity and some exercise. And then the day ends with a light evening meal and some more reading before I hit the bed. So
amazing, actually. So I believe you follow a pretty healthy lifestyle. Am I right?
Well, I try to, but there are areas we can all improve on, I'm sure, in all our lives. One of the things I recently did in November, actually, last year was, I've decided I was going to give up any alcohol consumption and completely. And that's been very, very useful for me because I've become more productive as a result. I'm less tired and, don't have to worry about, hangovers and so on. So I was never a heavy drinker or anything, but somehow occasionally on a weekend, I'd probably have 1 or 2 glasses of wine, and that turned to 3 or 4. And then you kind of feel that the effects of that on your body and your mind and your ability to do any meaningful work. So I said, well, enough is enough, and I really want to do that. And one of my biggest things for this year, 2023, is to really take my physical fitness to the next level if I can, and I'm sure we all can. So I'm working on that, and that was one of the first things I decided I should do. Yeah.
Like following a healthy routine, like all of us can say that we will do this and that, but then you are actually following a pretty healthy routine. And even like me, for example, I also take up resolutions like this year I'm going to do this and that. Even I have 2 dogs whom I take out on walks in the evening. So that's the maximum amount of physical movement which I do in the entire day. But obviously I'm trying to do more. So when we talk about this healthy lifestyle, so for that, like I have read somewhere that there are 6 key lifestyle behaviors. So can you tell us more about that?
I haven't come across that particular one, but I'm sure we can pinpoint all these behaviors down to a number of them, I suppose, and a few bullet points. First thing is, I would say, getting enough sleep is really important, and making sure not just your sleep quantity, the quality of your sleep is good. And if that's not working out in your life, to really dig deep and try and understand what's going on with your sleep. And secondly, what's been important for me is to make sure I'm getting a nutritious meal every day, and my diet is kind of balanced, and not kind of loaded too heavily on the sugars side, because that has an impact on weight, and with weight gain comes all these other metabolic health problems like diabetes and whatnot. And thirdly, I'd say ensuring you're getting regular physical activity. So if as you said, you've got dogs, and getting that activity dialed in every day, be it take the dogs for a walk, and that's a good reason to go out for a walk and get physical activity. And with physical activity, I also tell my clients, earlier in the day you can get out of the house, the better, because you want the sort of early day sunshine, and that's also beneficial for your sleep. But you do what you can based on what your lifestyle allows.
Do you believe that early morning is like many people are late risers, right? So now, for example, me, I also I wake up at 7:30 a.m. in the morning because I have to go to work. But other days I am probably a night person, and I prefer staying awake at night than waking up early in the morning. So is that kind of unhealthy, like according to you? Is an early riser healthier than a person who wakes up late?
That's what our ancestors used to say, isn't it? I mean, my father always used to say, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And
yes.
I've only come to understand that and realize the significance of that quite a little bit late in life. Because when I was young, and also into my 20s and 30s, I was probably into late nights and working till very late in the night. And then waking up late in the morning. But once you have a job, I suppose you're forced to wake up at a particular time in the morning. And I would say there's no one size fits all. So it'd be very wrong of me to say, okay, this is the prescription, and you have to stick to this timetable, and it works for everyone. It doesn't. But to make sure that you have got a routine, so you're going to bed around the same time at night and waking up around the same time. So if it's, let's say, for argument's sake, 7:30 is when you wake up in the morning, then making sure you go at a decent time so that you're getting the amount of sleep you need as an individual. And for me, the amount of sleep I need is at least 7 to 8 hours. I mean, if I'm sleeping less than 7 hours, I'll feel it in my being. And then looking at all your other activities around that, your sleep-wake routine, to see, okay, am I staying too late into the night and, in front of my computer or checking things on my phone, because that blue light is going to impact your quality of sleep? Can I replace that with some other activity that is more conducive to good sleep? having this kind of, explorations for yourself. Because there's so much information out there online about, what a good sleep routine looks like. And some incredible books as well. So I'd suggest, your audience and everyone to explore that, because once you get the sleep dialed in well, the rest seems somewhat easier. Even eating healthily becomes easier, and getting physical activity can become easier because you're feeling well rested, and you feel more energized, and you get a different sense of purpose about your day. Have I answered your question?
Yes, absolutely. But coming back to that behavior thing, I think you were going to say something more about the lifestyle behaviors thing.
Yeah, we were talking about the 6 lifestyle behaviors, weren't we? And then there were 2 more that comes to mind. One is stress management. It's so important to build that into our lives in some way. Either you have got some practice like meditation or yoga. Again, I'm not here to tell anyone what to do, but it's important to have some sort of approach in your life whereby you got into a habit of de-stressing during the course of the day, through some sort of approach, through some sort of activity, whatever works for you. And last but not least, I think to ensure that you are building meaningful relationships in your life with family and friends, and that's I think it's very key in terms of having a lifestyle behavior that fosters good, meaningful relationships in your life, because that's I think it's one of the key ingredients for a joyful and happy life, and a healthy one as well.
Having a healthy social life is very significant. It plays a very significant role in our lives, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because as human beings, we are social animals, and we feed off each other, and to be able to find one's place in the context of a good relationship, it's so nourishing and so healthy, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely.
And what determines a person's lifestyle?
I think many things. I think our values direct us to any lifestyle that we choose for ourselves. Yeah, our daily habits. I think our daily habits, our values are, habits are guided by our values anyway. And those small habits that we have accumulated, we have built into our life for years and years, I mean, they go on to, give us this sense of, okay, I have got this lifestyle, which is, good for me, or which is bad for me, or I want to, or I've got an ideal lifestyle at the moment, and whatever it is. So I think it goes deep down to our value system, and to this sense of, who I am in this sort of life experience, in my presence, in life as a person.
Right from our childhoods, these values are like, we learn from them, then we form habits, and ultimately this only goes to form our lifestyles. So basically these are the factors that influence our lifestyle, right? The values, the habits, and everything.
Yeah, I think so. Our values, our habits are nothing but, these are responses that have been conditioned throughout life from the influences we've had through our upbringing, through what we have seen, what we have, thought to be good and bad for us, and influence of society, influence of family, friends. And we need, if we are not mindful of those, if we don't understand that this is how our lifestyle gets impacted or gets created, we can almost, go through life quite blindly and not aware of, this is lifestyle, and I can do something about it. And to really get that understanding that, no, your lifestyle doesn't have to be set in one certain way. You have got the capacity to create something new. And if you think the current lifestyle is not the right one for you, So we can all, it's not etched in, stone, and you can change it anytime you like. But it needs that commitment for you to change that. And a lot of us, and for a lot of us, I think we have that desire and we have that intention. But when it comes to committing to an action, that's where we fall. That's where we fall short. And if we don't act on an idea or a desire, nothing changes in your life, right?
Yes, absolutely. First, self-awareness is important, I believe, and then comes the determination part and commitment, right? So first you have to be self-aware that this you are doing wrong and whatever needs to be right. And then goes your determination to change that. And ultimately, it's the commitment to stick to that particular determination. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. And that is the most powerful bit, I think, that is missing in a lot of people's lives, because we are not short of ideas. As a society, as individuals, we have ideas galore. We know what to do, what is right for us, and what is not serving us well at the moment, and what we ought to do, and where we want to be. So we've got all these ideas, but those ideas don't just come to fruition until and unless we commit towards them and take proactive, take sort of positive and affirmative action towards those, to meeting those goals and ambitions. So I think that's where people fall short, and that's where we really need to get good at committing to what we want in our life and how we want our life to be, and take the steps needed, whatever that may cost us, really.
And taking that first step is everything.
Oh, absolutely.
I think once you take that first step, the rest of the steps will follow, right?
Oh yeah, you have to take the first big leap. Yeah, you have to and make make from the first step starts the next one, and you all take those tiny little baby steps, and one thing leads to another, and then you get this very exponential change in your life. And then one and one doesn't necessarily turn into two. It turns into something even bigger than that. And so it's about some of all these small steps that you take and turn into something quite magical in your life. Is what I can say.
Absolutely. So when we are talking about healthy lifestyle, we know that like having a proper routine, eating nutritious meal, like you said. Now, what is a negative lifestyle? So is it exactly opposite to that, or there is more to it?
That's a good question. Again, it has to be something that you feel is not working. If you feel your lifestyle is not working for you, from being self-aware, as you said earlier, self-awareness is key. That's the starting point. And if your own exploration and your own inquiry into yourself is telling you that no, something is not sitting right, and this feels too much. Life feels too much effortful, and I'm not experiencing the ease I want to see in my life. Then you've got to ask yourself, where is my lifestyle in all of this? Is this sense of discomfort and disease and distress is coming from my choice of lifestyle? So yeah, I think each person has to ask that of themselves. So there's no, again, one particular, lifestyle that you can label is, wrong for everyone. But yeah, and looking at those six different things, behaviors or pillars, if you like, we talked about earlier, like thinking along the lines of, okay, well, how well am I sleeping? What is my dietary choice, and how well am I eating? And what's happening with my physical activities, and how are my relationships, and am I managing my stress well? Because as human beings, we are all, prone to stress and pressure and overwhelmed from time to time. So it's, how am I dealing with all of those things? And is everything in sync? All these six things, are all these working in tandem? Or is there a conflict between one or the other? So kind of thinking, along those lines, and that will bring some insight and shine the light on, okay, this is an area I want to improve on in my lifestyle, and this is what I can do, and I'm going to commit to it, and not thinking too much about it, and then just do what you need to do. is what I say.
Yes. What do you think? What are the various types of lifestyles there is? Yeah,
as I said, the type of lifestyle one chooses is very personal, right? And can vary quite widely. But if you are to box them into certain lifestyle types, I suppose, there could be several. Like, one probably is a minimalist lifestyle is one, which focuses on, living with the fewest possessions you have got possible in your life, and you're happy with that. And the healthy lifestyle involves adopting habits that are beneficial for your physical and mental health, you could say. And some people are more into that spiritual lifestyle, which centers around, finding meaning and purpose in life. Then there are the creative types, which encourages you to find expression through different kinds of creative work, creative activity. And there's, of course, the eco and the green lifestyle, which involves you making sustainable choices to reduce your environmental impact. And that's and some people are quite workaholic, and so they love that lifestyle because they focus on which I suppose the focus is more on than career success or professional business success, but and sometimes at the expense of other aspects of your life, and that can be what we understand as a workaholic lifestyle. And then you've also got nowadays the digital and the very nomadic sort of digital lifestyle, which you're not fixed to a certain geographical location, and you like to move about, and you get very few physical material possessions, but that's seems to bring you the most happiness to be able to travel around freely, and gives you a sense of freedom and location independence. So, ultimately what lifestyle works for you is up to you as an individual, and what allows you to live your most authentic and fulfilled life. I think that's key.
Absolutely. And but in today's corporate life, we often mess up our lifestyles. Positive lifestyles, it's very difficult to find, to be very honest, in today's world, right? So how do you think we can keep the balance between work and our personal life?
That's a good question. I mean, maintaining a healthy balance in today's busy corporate world life can be quite a challenge. But it's not impossible. It is possible. There's so many examples that we get to see of people doing and showing us just that, how it is possible. But I suppose if you think about what was some of the things that one can do is the first thing I'd say is you've got to really know what is the purpose that's driving you. With whatever activity you undertake in life, if it's work that drives you, and the work activity that's driving you, and if it's coming from this kind of deep sense of knowing that this is my purpose, I'm coming from that inner place of needing to serve in this way, needing to find my spirit, needing to find my meaning in life in this way, then it's that's not a problem. But if it is other than that, I mean, if it is driven by something external to you, of needing to be recognized, needing to be appreciated or validated by others, then you might find that that's causing you more stress in many, many different ways. So I suppose what can one do in a corporate setting? I suppose one of the first things is to prioritize your self-care and through habits and activities that help you achieve that. Again, coming back to those 6 pillars again, looking at exercise and health and how well you're looking after those aspects of your lifestyle, which you can create yourself. So looking at those self-care activities to manage your stress, to not let stress imprison you. Secondly, some very practical ways is to ensure you're taking regular breaks throughout the day, to give your mind and body a rest, eating well, eating nourishing meals throughout the day to keep your energy levels up, making sure you're getting enough sleep at night so that you can do your corporate work well and staying focused and alert. And again, the beauty of having good relationships with colleagues and people at work and connecting with them, and that's so important for our well-being in the corporate setting. Also setting boundaries for ourselves and making sure we're giving ourselves time. We've got time for ourselves during our kind of busy corporate day, if you like. And work can sometimes seem quite overwhelming. So often, because I work part-time in a corporate world as well, so trying to focus on, we should try to focus on one task at a time instead of, multitasking constantly, because that can feel quite overwhelming, and it may leave you with a sense of, I've not done even one job well, and that can lead to a lot of stress and frustration, And last but not least, your corporate life is also a play, like life is. So, not forgetting to have fun and taking and not feeling guilty about taking time away from work, because that can be as important as working hard for a living. So I think if we really follow even some of these approaches and some of these things we can do and create in our life, in our work life, we can find a balance. We can create a more sort of healthier, more sustainable lifestyle for ourselves. Is what I think. Yeah.
And do you think employers have a role to play in this? Like, can employers also boost a healthy lifestyle amongst their employees?
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about it. And employers have a lot of potential to help their employees lead healthy lifestyles, and I know you guys do a lot of that exploration within Vantage Circle and Vantage Fit. But some of the ideas I've been playing with is things what I see in my experience within my company or my organization is when people are offered flexible working hours, for example, and encouraged to take breaks throughout the day. And this is a very small approach, but it can be quite impactful, and making sure, again, eating is something I like to ensure that in the office culture, that there are free healthy snacks are provided in offices, and there is access to water coolers throughout the building, and in terms of activities, that if employees are given access to recreational facilities, like you've got a gym or something, and that encourages people to just take that break, give themselves a break, and then go into some recreational activity. That's not only good for their physical health, also good for their mental well-being. And companies can offer wellness programs such as health checkups. Encourage people to look at these addictive habits, like helping people give up smoking, for example, and if they've got other addictions, giving them access to the right advice and the right support and counseling, and also other wellness activities like yoga and mindfulness and all those things that are very popular with organizations these days. So I think those are really key, and any kind of team building event or sports tournaments, I've seen companies do that these days, and those can really help employees think more, encourage employees to adopt a more healthy lifestyle, you see, and also active
through those wellness programs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And also, encouraging your employees to take holidays as well, and not thinking that work is not all work. Without any play or relaxation, you don't get. And I think if employers implemented some of these strategies in the workplace, and they can really have help the employees stay healthy and motivated and really contribute in a much more empowered way.
Yes, absolutely. Like when employers also promote healthy lifestyle among the employees will be more motivated and encouraged to follow the same routine of a healthy lifestyle. And when the employers introduce various wellness programs in the workplace, that is also going to boost and promote wellness amongst all the employees.
Absolutely.
Okay, so coming to the last question, which is living and lifestyle the same thing? What is your opinion on that?
Well, that's a very, very deep question.
Saving it for the last.
No, very important one. See, lifestyle is what we get to create as an individual, as a person, to enjoy this experience called life. As human beings, we have got this kind of privilege and the gift to enjoy the creation of life, and we get to choose how we are going to experience it. Either you walk into this movie called life and you're going to have a good experience, or you're going to come out of the hole complaining and saying, okay, this was a waste of money. It's our choice. And living is the way I see it. So that was lifestyle. I think we get to choose the decisions we take on a day-to-day basis from moment to moment, and that those things aggregate to give us this sense of, okay, this is my lifestyle. But in terms of living, is what does that mean? Does that mean it's when we are really self-aware of, when we're really aware of, who are we in essence, what is behind us experiencing this thing called life? Are we constantly fighting against life, or are we going with the flow of life? Are we embracing whatever life brings us from moment to moment? And that, for me, living is understanding that aspect of me. And when I can come from that place of experiencing whatever life brings to me, and that is what I would call living for me. Living is and being in the present. So when I'm not caught up in the past, in the timeline of, okay, there's a past and there's a future. When we are caught up in those kind of times, in this abstract thing called time, we lose our connection with the present. Because if there's anything real about life itself, it's the present moment. Because this is the only reality you have, this moment.
Yes.
Because the past has happened, it's gone, it's an illusion at the moment. It's nothing but a memory in our minds, and the future hasn't come yet. So, but when we don't understand that, when we don't see that, we carry the baggage from our past. We have got stories from our past that affect our sense of joy and well-being at this time, and we have got fears and anxieties about our future. So a lot of us are caught up in that, and hence we forget to live. Hence we forget to live, and we miss the opportunity of the moment. We miss the opportunity that the present brings us to really be present to life, to really be accepting of life, whatever life brings us. When we see that, and when we can do that, and I think that's be true living. That be easeful living is what I call it. And a choice of lifestyle is something that allows us to experience that in a purposeful, in a purpose-driven, meaningful, and a value-driven way. And we are all capable of doing that. We are all capable of creating that in our own lives.
You put it very beautifully. You actually managed to distinguish between the two. Thank you so much for doing that. It was very insightful. And so at the last, do you want to share anything more with our listeners?
Sure. That's what I would like to reiterate. The last point we discussed is to really dig deep into finding out who you truly are as an individual and as a being. As a being, as a true being, spiritual being, we're something much more bigger, something much more expansive than just this individual body and mind. So, like I encourage my clients, I would encourage your audience to explore that in their lives, in their own experience of life. When that is understood, that aspect of our experience is understood well, and things begin to flow easily from that point. And choosing a good lifestyle becomes more effortless as well, because it doesn't become a mental activity. It becomes because it then comes from your being of who you truly are, and you realize, this is why I want to have this lifestyle, or this is why I want to look after my body in a certain way, and this is why I want to manage my stress in a certain way, and so that you can really enjoy this gift of life and truly live, and not feel that you have to constantly hit against a wall called life, so it shouldn't be a battle. Life shouldn't be a battle. It shouldn't feel like that, because it's not meant to be that. We were not kind of sent to this world to say, okay, you the Creator didn't send us here saying, okay, go to Earth now and start fighting. You have to constantly fight for every every little experience, good experience, and otherwise you don't get it. No, it wasn't supposed to be that, but we have made it that way for some reason.
Exactly.
Because we've forgotten our true essence. So I'd say, when make time to explore that for yourself, to see who you truly are, and everything else flows from there. Because that wisdom, that innate knowledge that we all have, will guide us as to what's best for us. What's best for us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Suraj, for sharing everything, your experiences, your knowledge with us today. The entire session was very insightful to me, and I'm sure it would be for our listeners as well. Thank you so much. I hope you had a great time as well. Yes, thank you so much, Deepshi. A really great conversation, and I hope this is helpful for your listeners. Yes, absolutely. Your stories and your knowledge is very inspiring. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. Please do subscribe to Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our YouTube channel for new episodes.